Hi, this is Daniel Metler from 2SexyContent Solutions, and I would like to show you how to use list header information in 2SexyContent lists. It's a pretty powerful concept, and I think a lot of people haven't figured it out yet. So let's just get started. The main idea is to understand that content is the stuff we're actually showing. It's also the stuff that goes in the loop, but sometimes you have things that are either outside of the loop or that should only be set once and not multiple times. And that is called not the content, but the list content. It's the content of the list element. And to look at that, you'll see the tag is on the screen right now. That's what it's called. And I'm going to show you how to use it for introductions to lists. I'm going to show you how to use it for things like table headers, which would be inside the list but with a special purpose, and for recurring labels. So let's just get started. What we've got here is a trivial list, but it's not a list yet. You'll also notice it has the button there, but there's the plus missing. So it hasn't been configured as a list yet. We have the data here, which we can edit, as you already know, showing Paris and a bit of information linking to the Wikipedia. We have a lightbox. I'll just give it a second to recover. A lightbox showing something. You remember how we do that, right? With the URL at the bottom, you can see that it goes to the correct lightbox, and a link pointing to another website. Now, let me just show you the template here. Okay, so let's just start. This is the template that you see right now, and you'll see at first there's a token here getting the list content and its title, and you'll notice you didn't see one. But that's okay because it's not a list yet, so this just gets ignored. Then we have a table with a header and the repeating section with the same tricks that we already know, kind of a title, a button, which will actually tell the fancy box to open this div here. It's the one you see right below it, which is not visible until it's needed. And another one going to the link, to the Wikipedia link. And we also put the toolbar here in a visible place, because with tables it's usually a little harder to make the mouse over edit buttons. So far, nothing very exciting, very easy to understand. So let's go back and activate the table features by going into the template management, going to this table of cities, and saying, yes, this thing can handle lists. So far, nothing exciting happening yet. We'll be able to add a few more at the moment. All right, let's go to the bottom page. We now have a plus button. We can add more cities. And since the template data here is Paris as well, you don't notice the difference, but let's just replace this with an existing other city, in this case Berlin. And you'll see we now have two items. Everything seems to work properly. The light boxes should work, so no big deal, right? Okay, so what is the list header for? First of all, sometimes you have a situation where if you just add one element, that's all you want to show. But then there's a lot of moments where you want to add something which is not repeating. But based on the layout, it should be part of the same component, kind of. Let me just show you an example on our own website. On our website, a typical thing that we have here is image rotators like these, which are actually just a list. Now, if you go through them, there's a different link, there's a different picture, this is all listed, but this text over here should stay here, and it's kind of the header of the list. So how about we just do this together now? Assume we wanted to create a header here. So I figured I'm going to do this from scratch, and I'm actually going to make a completely new content type for this. And we're going to call it let's not call it city table header, but a table wrapper, or table header intro. You'll see in a moment why we do this. And because I'm going to do a lot more than just a header. Let's give this thing a title to start with. And just so that we can do something a bit more extensive, let's also just add something and say this is the content, where we'll say this is our introduction text. Or let's therefore rename it quickly and say it's not the content, it's the introduction. Whoop, I misclicked myself. I would end up not renaming it right now, so let me just go back to that, design the fields. Let's just leave it. Okay. Now, if I do this No big deal. I'll go back to managing my templates, going to the table of cities, and I will say that my list content is this one I just made, table header intro, and there's no demo data I can assign to it, so let's just leave it at that. Okay, so let's quickly go to the list configuration. Here I can add the list values. I can also do an inline button, but just for the sake of simplicity. Cities we love. This is great. I forgot to set it to WYSIWYG, but it doesn't change anything. It works the same way. Now you'll see that the title, of course, will be shown now. Give it a second to load. And the text underneath it is not. Reason being, we didn't have it in here. So let's quickly add that now. All right. Here we go. So that's like the first thing we can use it for. Introduction things and things around it. But there's actually more. Let's pretend that we just made a tiny little template for creating a nice table. This would be a little bit stylisher. And we would like to change something here. For example, we would like to allow the editor to type in a different text in here. Instead of Wikipedia, for example, he might want to say link, because it might not go to Wikipedia. So let's go to the administration and actually extend the content type with new fields. And let's call this the lightbox title. And we'll also, in the same round, say the link title. And then we'll add the lightbox link. Let's call it the button to not confuse ourselves. And the link button. Good. Just for good measure, so you know what we're kind of doing here, typically you would want to add instructions. For example, let's say the link button, we would typically, just so that people understand what they're actually doing here, add a little bit more help and say, look, this is written out nicely like that, link button. This is multilingual, by the way, you can translate it in every language. And then we would write, okay, this is the label of the button inside the table, just to kind of help people that are editing stuff. Okay, so that wasn't too difficult. So I've just extended this content type for the list heading, the list content. And let's now go back and edit the values here. What you'll notice now, of course, we have these things here. And let's say the link button, the title we would like to call details. And the link title we'll call pop-up. Oh, wait, I got that wrong. Okay, link, and the lightbox button will be pop-up, and the link button will be called external site. So these words are now going to appear in the table as soon as we've updated the template. We'll see that in a moment. So we're going to change these labels here now so that they don't say quick infos in Wikipedia, but that they actually say the things that we just typed into our template. So let's start here with quick info. We're going to call this list content. And honestly, in this very short time, I already forgot what it's called. So let's just not do it in here. Let's use the built-in editing functionality and go in here. In many cases, this is absolutely sufficient. You don't get all the color coding, but it's pretty simple. So here it helps me to just remember what kind of things I have. Let's say we have the lightbox title, which we're going to put as the title here, lightbox title. And we have the lightbox button, which we have here. And we have the link title for, instead of Wikipedia, on top of the row. And we have the link button, again, for over here, inside the thing. So if I update this now, you'll see, pretty simple. These words should now be replaced with the ones that the editor added. And you see, it's very, very easy to do. So we just now used the list content to change the introduction. We used it to do things like inside the header of a table, and we used it to replace text fragments in the future template, which are the same in every iteration. So that's actually what the list content is for. It helps you create almost kind of like little apps with tiny little neat features, which you can just reuse for a bunch of stuff. Once you start using it a little bit, you'll learn to love it. So give it a try, enjoy it. Let me just see if there's anything else we need from the presentation, but I think we're through. That was the live example. Yep, enjoy it, give it a try. I hope you loved it, and I hope you love 2SexyContent. This was Daniel Metler, 2SEC Internet Solutions. Thank you for watching.